Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today is number 30 in my video series, Way Out Wednesdays, or the acronym of WOW. Some of these videos are pretty out there and others are, maybe something that you feel is pretty accepted and normal. Well, today, I think we're going to go way out there. So today I'm going to be talking about a practice called spirit keeping, something I didn't know, I knew nothing about, to be honest with you, before a viewer wrote me about it a while back, at which point I took a look into it. And then it honestly kind of maybe feels some kind of way, it kind of freaked me out. And then I had to think about it for a while. So I'm going to be telling you about it today. Okay, so spirit keeping, and listen, guys, again, these videos, this isn't a TED Talk. I'm not reading from a book. I didn't read 5 articles. I'm not going to regurgitate the information to you verbatim. I'm channeling this from my spirit guides. So Susan is involved to about 40%. The spirit guides are about 60%. Now, the thing that was fascinating to me was spirit keeping is a lot like the old genie in the bottle, right? Many of us are familiar with the idea, maybe through the movies or through comic books or some other cartoon type thing, of the idea of a genie being kept in some sort of lantern or bottle or some sort of thing. Well, it's fascinating, isn't it, how the spiritual world mimics our reality, or our reality mimics true things that are really happening in the spiritual world? Because here we are, spirit keeping is essentially having a spirit live inside of an object. Okay, just like a genie in a bottle. That's exactly what it is. Except for what's interesting is this is becoming a more well-known marketplace. You can go to certain places online and you can order any kind of spirit that you want. You can order spirits that are just gonna be like your friend that you talk to. You can order spirits to help you do certain things. You can order spirits to protect you. You can order spirits, just anything you could imagine, right? And there's different levels of expertise required for some of these spirits. Some of these vendors, if you want to call them that, are very good about saying this is not a spirit that you want to get if you're a newbie. Now, I know I'm talking about this like, we're talking about buying a reptile, right? Like buying a non-poisonous snake versus a poisonous snake, or buying a very elaborate and hard to keep alive saltwater fish versus a goldfish that would survive in anything, right? It is interesting that the energy around this, in my opinion, on a very basic level, is keeping something. It's spirit keeping. It's keeping a pet. I know that's wrong. It's just wrong. But the truth of the matter is that according to what I looked at, there are people that bind the spirit to the box, to the container, to whatever it is, right? They bind the spirit to that. I'm feeling like you could bind a spirit to a piece of jewelry, right? I did a video, and it's worth watching, about buying things at antique shops or buying used jewelry, and how oftentimes there's a spirit attached to it. Now, the difference is that sometimes spirits, be they ghost or be they people that crossed over that are now coming back, that have an agenda or an axe to grind or something like that, and they get attached to a ring. That's my ring. I gave it to my boyfriend, husband, wife, child, whatever. And she hawked it or sold it or gave it to somebody who didn't care about it. So they get attached and they want to stay attached to that item. Okay. That's different, in my opinion, because that entity or spirit is attaching themselves of their own free will. Now, according to spirit keepers, if you're out there, feel free to jump into the comments. According to spirit keepers, there are entities, spirits that of their own free will allow themselves to be bound to a box or a container with the idea that that box or container would then would be purchased by, say, me, and then I have this spirit in this box, and I know something about the spirit, right? Because the spirit keeper, the original person that made all this come together, knew something about that spirit that they put in the box. So they might know this is a great spirit for a novice. This is not a good spirit for a novice. This is an expert level spirit in this box. So let's say that I purchased this box and I have a novice spirit because I'm a novice user or a spirit keeper myself, right? And I, open the box and I interact with the spirit. So that spirit is mine. That spirit is now bonded to me and to the box or the container. And they put binding spells on them to keep them bound. Now, I have all kind of questions and all kind of concerns, but I'm just telling you what I know. So these spirits can be your friend. They can be your buddy. You really can get to a point where you can feel them. You can talk to them and you can feel love or feel affection or feel humor. Now, are some people making this up? I think so. I think some people are making up. Trust me when I say, this is not an imaginary friend. This is something is really going to be in there. Okay. 9 times out of 10. But does everybody that buy one of these spirits understand what they're getting into? Do they understand that this is energy and that energy is not imaginary and this is not a plaything, right? This is not a plaything. Even if this spirit is of a jovial nature, you're still bringing an energy that most of us don't understand fully or respect fully into your own energetic world, and you're giving them permission. You're giving them permission to communicate with you energetically. That means they have permission to come into your energy. Now, does that mean they're going to tell you to jump off a bridge? Hopefully not. Hopefully that's maybe the expert level. I don't know. But they really can influence you. Okay. In the same way, there's a lot of overlapping energies here, a lot of overlapping of what entities do in general. So in the same way that an entity in your house, a ghost or an entity in your house, that's low vibration. Well, eventually, if that entity stays in your house for years and years, depending on its level of power and your level of your level of vibration, of unawareness, of apathy, can make you really tired, make you lose hope, make you be depressed, make you sick. Okay? Anything that's in your energy, whether you bought it or not. I mean, in one consideration, at least this you bought. There's not a spirit in here, but at least you intentionally said, I want this spirit, right? But how many of us have unintentional spirits in our houses, our apartments, our job sites, whatever, on our land that's really affecting us, and we're just not even aware of it. So there's some overlapping things, because spirit is spirit, energy is energy, entity is entity. But in this case, people, there really is a marketplace where you can go purchase yourself a genie in a bottle, and you can interact with that genie or that entity. Now, some of you, so they're just saying that if you buy one of these and you think that it would just be really cool to have my own genie in a bottle, right? That's fine. That's up to you. But you really should have boundaries, right? We should all have boundaries, whether or not it's a spirit that you've bought that's in a bottle, or in your 3D human life, or an entity that may be visiting you. If you don't have any boundaries, these types of energies can really be a problem for you. So the guides would also say that, so I struggled with this because I really felt like this wasn't something that I needed to give a platform to. And the guides would say, well, I'm talking to my spirit guides right now, right? And the way I see it is my spirit guides, it's your higher self, and then your spirit guides, and then helper guides. So the guides that I talk to all the time are really my helper guides. My spirit guides are too busy to be talking to me. I've told you guys, they don't want to talk to you. They want to guide you. And if they're guiding you and you're asking questions, then you're not being guided. They would much rather do that on the down low. They'd much rather pop that little thought in your head and have you just act on it, rather than have a conversation with you about it. If you want to have conversations about things like your diet or your career or whatever, you can ask and receive a helper guide to come in and work with you. You always want to ask for my highest good and in the light. You don't want to be bringing no, tricksters in, right? So I think they're just playing devil's advocate with me. Maybe I just have a personal thing about something being bound or bound. Really, it's bound to an item. And then I would also say that, you guys go to those flea markets, yard sales, antique shops, and you buy things. You could be buying your very own genie in a bottle by accident. And you wouldn't know. You open this thing up to put your jewelry in, and you might have an odd feeling. You might be unsettled. Might be perfectly fine till you open it. Might be perfectly fine till you put it on your hand, put that ring on your finger, put that necklace on, and then you're like, whoa, that feels weird, right? No, it could have an attachment on it. So we've already talked about why people buy these. Some people really do work with dark energy. They do buy them specifically because they're dark energy. I mean, really, you can see it. They're listed like, it's like Amazon for spirits, y'all. For real. You can look up spirit keeping. It won't take you long to find the websites. And you can buy, demonic spirit to put in your shoebox under your bed. And the guides would say it's just like anything. A hammer can put the nails into the wood that builds your house, right? Or it can bash somebody in the head. Energy is energy, and how are you going to use it? What are you going to use it for? What's your intentions, right? Some of these spirits that people get are really just to have friends, are really just to have someone to talk to, again, you could buy a spirit that's supposed to help you increase your self-confidence. I mean, it can be very specific. You can also buy spirits to, swear to God, be romantic partners. Believe me when I say that this happens. And that's where I would say, I would say this about everything that I've talked about so far, which is that you're a human living a human experience. The guides often tell me, Susan, you're a human living a human experience. You're not supposed to be always astral traveling or, tripping through the universe or whatever it is, that you might want to do. You came here specifically to have human experiences. So in this way, it's the same way I feel about, like drugs. It's like, well, you're escaping the human experience, right? I mean, it's the same thing with this type of thing. If all your friends are spirits in boxes on your shelf, then you're escaping from the human experience. You're not really doing what you came here to do. And we all know what happens when you don't do what you came here to do, right? You get to do it again. I mean, nobody's going to make you, but you probably will want to do it again because there's this urge to do certain things before you get here. So when you get here and you forgot what you're supposed to be doing, and you just muddle through and try to escape, then when you cross over, you have this sense of, I know I can do it. I know I can go back and do this. Let me go back and do it again. And that's how we end up doing life after life after life, right? So I think that I'm going to try to explain for my own self why I feel like helper guides are different than spirit keeping. For one thing, I didn't bind anybody to me. They're free to go, and they do go. So that's another thing that's different, right? So when I call in a spirit guide, and y'all who watch me know I have, about my diet, I get them. And how that they work with me is I would be at the grocery store trying to buy something not good for my diet. And I would see a picture of something that I have at home. You know what I mean? Like not maybe a salad, but maybe not, maybe just something home cooked versus something with all the preservatives, right? Oftentimes I will be coming back to my house and thinking, I'm going to run and get some takeout, and they'll show me a picture of what's in my refrigerator that would be probably much healthier, right, than takeout fast food or something. So that's how they work with you, right? It's not like they're in my mind going, Susan, don't go get a hamburger or stay home. They're going to give you the message in the best way that you can receive it at that time. I'm very clairvoyant. So I can see and I can get messages and pictures really quickly. But here's the thing, and this has happened at least 3 times in 3 years. They're like, yeah, she's not listening, she's not serious, and they're gone. Now, it doesn't mean they're gone forever. It means that they're not going to keep bugging me if I'm not going to respond. So when it comes to helper guides, or whatever you want to call them, helper angels, helper guides, whatever you want to call them, they're going to help you as long as you're doing the tango with them, right? You do a little bit on your side, they do a little bit on their side. You do a little bit, they do a little bit, right? You're working together. They're happy to help you. But if you're going to stop doing anything on your side, they're going to go until you ask again. So that's a big difference. I didn't bind anything to a physical location. And I'm not doing this as a judgment call. I'm simply trying to describe the differences. Again, the spirit keepers that I saw, it sounds like the spirits that they get want to do this, right? So let's talk about it from that. They're showing me a spirit that's a swashbuckler. I think that's a pirate, a swashbuckler from the 1700s. So this man is a spirit. He's hanging out in the earth plane. Oh, this must have been who I saw in my living room. I didn't know who that was. I kicked him out. Anyway, don't be coming up in here without an invitation. Anyway, this guy is hanging out on the earth plane, and he's listening to this conversation, and he's saying, yeah, I would love it. I'm bored, right? I don't, he's not, let me clarify that. He's hanging out on the earth plane, but he's not earth bound. He's not a ghost. He's hanging out on the earth plane. I mean, maybe we should have a conversation with this man, because I got questions. But he's saying, I would love to interact with humans on a regular basis, right? So I wouldn't mind so much being bound to an inanimate object so that I would work with my person. The problem is, and hang on, mister, the problem is that we get busy and we buy these spirits and then we put them on the shelf and then we don't interact with them. And if you're not interacting with them, then they're not getting what they want. You know, they want human interaction for whatever reason, right? So let's talk to Mr. Swashbuckler, because he's a little bit leery, like about being bound to a box or whatever it is, a bottle, it doesn't matter. He's a little leery of that, but he does want to work with a human or humans. But I have questions. You know what I'm saying? Like my question is, why didn't you reincarnate? Where are you on the path? You were a human. Yeah, let's have a conversation with this man, right? You never know what you're going to get. So Mr. Swashbuckler, who's real tall, he's like 6'3" or 4. He's real tall. He's got dark hair. That's like shoulder length. I mean, I don't love his energy, dude. You need to be careful. I don't love his energy. He's a little handsy. But anyway, see, that's the thing with men, right? Like you say, oh, I'll have a conversation with you. And the next thing you know, they get handsy with you. It's like even the dead ones. What's that about? Anyway, this is a nuisance. He's a nuisance, in my opinion. So he's saying he's taking a break from the whole human experience thing. You don't have to incarnate, reincarnate. You can just, he's like, get off of the wheel, get off of the wheel of karma, the wheel of reincarnation. Hey, he's like, it's a trap. That's really interesting. So, I mean, because now I'm asking, now I want to know, is there like a whole bunch of people, quote unquote, that used to be people, but now they're just wandering spirits because they're not incarnating? I mean, what is going on here? I need to know more about this. Rogue. They've gone rogue. They're not, they're unaccounted for. He says they're unaccounted for. And see, this is what happens when you allow some random weirdo, some rando weirdo to come into your house and then talk to you. Do not do like me. He says we're unaccounted for. We roam. Yeah, this is a trickster. I mean, basically, this is a trickster energy, if you ask me, because to me, this man is not in the light. I mean, he's not in the dark. He's not evil. This is what I'm trying to say, you guys. This is how you end up working with tricksters right here, right now. I can sense evil a million miles away. They don't come near me because I know they're coming. But these rando weirdos, sorry, dude, they come across as neutral. So they're able to just walk right in, right? Because you're not picking up good or bad. Right? So this is a really good lesson too about that, about having, once you realize that there's an energy near you, if he touches my hair one more time, once you realize that there's an energy near you and you can't figure out if it's good or bad, it's neutral, deep six it. And I'm about to deep six you because I don't need all this right now. He's real handsy. My God, how do I get myself in these? See, this is why I stay in trouble right here. Okay, let me get rid of him. He's got to go. He's going. He's going. He's trying. Nice try. Nice try. He left, but he tried to leave a little piece of himself here, right here, attached. He tried to attach to me. So whenever you feel something between your shoulder blades, I've talked about this before. Whenever you feel something, you're like, I don't know, I feel something or something itches or something's bothering me right between your shoulder blades. That's an attachment. So he tried to leave, tried to fake me out. He tried to leave, but attached to me. Been around that. I've been around that. It's not my first rodeo, dude. So let me just have a little clearing go on back behind me here. And you know, just for that, I'm going to take care of this guy, like, for real. Was gonna just let him go, but now I'm going to take care of him for real. So that's what you get, dude. You messed with the wrong chick today. So these entities, like Mr. Swashbuckler, they're out of the karmic wheel, and it's not karma. It's not karma at all. They're out of the reincarnation loop. Okay, I'm not saying it's good or bad. Am I saying that? Did I say that? Okay, all I know is that I am in the light, and I'm going to be in the light, and I'm of the light, and wherever the light goes, I'm going. Okay, that's all I got to say. If to be in the light, you're in the incarnation loop, then put me in there. Okay, I'm not going to be going rogue and running around the universe. So these entities that do that, and that's where they get these. Okay, this is where I'm going to tie this up with a little bow. That's where they get them. Mr. Swashbuckler, You know, they just set their intention. You're a medium. You know, if you're a medium, you set your intention. Who's here? That's why I don't ask that question. Who's here? And then and you set your intention. I'm looking for spirits that want to work with humans. Well, guess what? There's a queue now outside my door and down the street. Spirits that want to work with humans. Because they're free agents. That's why they're spirit. That's why they're in here. They're free agents. They're not in the human evolution. Okay. Now, I have so many thoughts and feelings about this that I just don't even know where to go. But I would say this. So just so you know, it's okay if you don't incarnate, but this is not the same thing, right? This is not the same thing. If you decide, I've had it with that planet, 2 stars, worst experience I've ever had in my life, not ever going back, do not recommend. Management was terrible, whatever. And you don't want to come back here, you can stay in the light and get a different ticket to a different amusement park, right? You know, I already told y'all I was a frog for a while because I need to just check out and have some R&R in my pond. So by not reincarnating, it's not like you're going rogue. These jackalopes specifically escaped and wanted to be rogue. And what they do is they jump the timeline. They jump the timeline. So they go from like 2023 to 1943, from 1943 to 2029. Now, I know this because I've dealt with a lot of timeline jumpers. I recognize their energy. I just didn't catch the swashbuckler immediately. But once he started jacking with me and I paid a little more attention, there's a thing about them. They have a certain, when you look at them, I say look at them because that's human talk, right? But when I observe them deeper, intentionally, they have this weird, their aura is a weird color. It's a prismatic, but it's weird. It's just weird. It's not normal. And it doesn't look bad. It's kind of cool looking, but it's not normal. So whenever I get time jumpers, I call Archangel Metatron because I learned the hard way that Archangel Michael cannot catch a time jumper, and neither can Jesus or anybody. In my opinion, Archangel Metatron is the one that does it. There's a specific way that I see him do it, that because they're time jumpers. I know I sound crazy as a bat, but they can be in your room and disappear. They're basically jumping the timeline, but then they can reappear again 5 feet away. Just like all the movies you've seen, all that stuff is true. So when Archangel Michael tries to grab one of them, they can't because they have this, they're time jumpers. So I use Archangel Metatron. So he's gone. Mr. Swashbuckler is gone. But hopefully now you can understand how they get the spirits to put in the objects for the spirit keeping. And it really is a deal. They really can, you guys. They really can. Meaning spirits like Mr. Swashbuckler. If you give them permission, they can climb on up in here. And if you want to have a romantic experience with them, you can. You really can. You and no one else in the room but them, and you can have a physical sexual experience with them. Okay. I have not done that, but I do know that it happens. Period. End of story. And it's not, again, it's not meant for humans. Humans came here to work out our human issues. it's not like anybody's going to get in trouble per se. It's not like there's no hell. You're not going to get in trouble, but it doesn't help you. It slows you down, because just like if you do drugs or any other escape, any escape, social media, whatever it is, if you're escaping from your human reality, then you're not dealing with your human reality. Then you're not growing your soul. Then you're not doing what you came here to do. That is the end of the story. That's that. You can spend your lifetime here checked out, and there's no judgment in that. You do you, boo. But you're going to find when you cross over that you're going to be like, dang, I didn't get nothing done in this life, And what are we supposed to get done, right? Well, I'm going to tell you, it's not the dishes. It's not cleaning the floor. And it's not fixing your kids or fixing your husband or fixing your siblings or trying to fix your boss. It's not fixing nobody else. It's you. It's fixing you. That's why you came here. And I just don't think that whatever spirit you're keeping in here is going to be that helpful. I don't think it's going to be a therapist, right? I don't think it's going to be a therapist. But it's interesting. It's intriguing. And what an experience to have Mr. Swashbuckler show up in the middle of this video. So I know you're going to have 1,000 questions. I might have a few answers. I might not. I don't know. This video has been all over the place, literally all over the place, because I'm really, I don't know how I feel about it. I don't like the idea of binding things. I don't like the idea of trapping things, even if they do it of their own accord. Somebody's playing devil's advocate because they're saying, well, isn't like a marriage a trap or binding? Yes, it sure is. Got a point there. I don't know what to say about it. I don't know. I really don't. You guys, let me know what you think. I tried to wait to do this video till I could do it without my own personal opinions or emotions coming through, but obviously I didn't wait long enough. So we'll see. We'll just see what you think. Let me know in the comments what you think. We'll talk soon next Wednesday on Waaay Out Wednesday. Take really good care, everybody. You might want to do some house cleaning, some spiritual house cleaning after this video.